The next session we're going to be talking about customer service, dealing with customers, scaling customer service. Could I welcome to the stage Johan from Gorgias and Simon from TM Lewin. Welcome, guys. Grab a seat. Let me just move this one forward. There you are. Thank you.
Hello, hello. All right.
Did I say TM Lewin? Because I meant to say TM Lewin. Apologies about that, Simon. Obviously, no, it's TM Lewin. Yeah. So welcome both. I will throw over to both of you guys to introduce yourselves. Hang on a second, guys, just pass the things. Right, I'll throw over both of you to introduce yourselves. So Johan, kicking off with you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm Johan. I'm in charge of partnerships at Gorgias. So we are a customer service platform for e-commerce. I'll tell you a bit more about Gorgias. But I manage partnerships with our partners, agencies, e-commerce agencies, ads agencies, customer support outsourcing, any kind of services that agencies can provide to e-commerce brands. So if you have any questions about this, I'm happy to tell you about the partners we have. And I'm also a customer experience, customer support, and customer success enthusiast in general. I have about 6 years of experience working at Salesforce and Gorgias, our platform to help brands manage customer experience, interactions with customers. Yeah, now at Gorgias, working a lot with partners and agencies on topics like customer retention, increasing customer lifetime value, and things like this.
Can you just put your hand up if you're already using Gorgias for your customer service? Look at that.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of people.
Put your hand up if you heard about it at a DTC live conference. Obviously, you'll put your hands back at thank you. Yeah. So, Simon, over to you.
Hi, yeah. My name's Simon Sullivan. I look after technology and operations for TM Lewin. In effect, my job is to make sure we keep the promises to the customers. I've got a grey hair, probably suggests it. I've got a bit more experience than Johan. I won't say how many years. Spent some time at Pentland Brands, and I was part of the original management team at FitFlop that helped Marcia create the brands. High growth startups, it's my favourite space.
So Simon, let's start by telling us about TM Lewin. It's obviously over 100 years old. Everyone familiar with the brand TM Lewin? Yeah. Who's a TM Lewin shirt owner? There you are, some customers in the room.
Yeah, it's great to see. Yeah, so it's a bit strange to be at DTC and talking about a 125-year-old brand, but as a formal wear brand with a lot of retail spaces, you can imagine COVID was a bit of a more unexpected for us than anybody else. We had some challenges. We've been through a couple of restructurings. We relaunched the brand last May. We're online only at the moment, and it's going great. We're growing the way that we want. We're hitting our targets, so we're in a pretty good place. Pleased with where we are.
Sorry, I was just slightly distracted by the slides suddenly changing. So tell us about you guys, because I love it when we find a heritage brand like that, and you can imagine how it has to be dragged through this kind of journey in order to reinvent it on the other side. Has that been the case with TM Lewin? It's been through restructures?
Yeah.
And then to see it suddenly become e-commerce only is a complete U-turn.
Yeah, absolutely. Like there's a lot of hands that went up, so everyone will have been used to going into the whole mahogany line stores with racks and racks of shirts. So you can imagine we had all of those challenges. But like when we relaunched, retail's about being customer first. Finding a way of doing that online when you're just used to being a retailer has been quite a difference to push through. And really that's a lot of what we've been doing with the operating model is basically working out how we keep promises. Like I said, we went through restructuring, so like we carried quite a lot of baggage into our relaunch in terms of customers that have been let down and relationships we had to repair.
So coming on to those relationships you had to repair, at that point of relaunch you had how many tickets?
A lot, thousands.
6,000?
Yeah, broadly. When we moved to Gorgias we did, yeah. And it was one of those challenges. Not all of them were real contacts. Some of them were repeat contacts because we were just struggling to see the wood for the trees. And really that's what Gorgias gave us when we put it in. It was turnkey to implement it. It's tightly coupled into Shopify. It gives my team a single pane of glass. We managed to go from a ridiculous backlog like that to no backlog at all inside 6 weeks, which meant that when we went into peak, we could just actually concentrate on value-adding interactions with the customers, like getting live chat live, making product recommendations, answering questions about products, not doing all the hygiene factors.
Yeah.
Like one of the previous commentators said about you have to have the hygiene factors right. You can't get away with that, but it's not order winning. It's not really what the customers want. By the time you're dealing with an issue, you failed already with the customer, right? You're just trying to repair the problem that you've caused. And that's what's great now, right? We've got our operating model sorted. We're getting all the basics right. and now my team can focus on really adding value. The team's outstanding. They needed some help. They needed the right tooling. They needed the right support inside the business to actually let them keep the promise.
Great. Johan, tell us, so obviously you've got some of your customers in the room who will be familiar with the product, but for those who aren't familiar with the product, what is Gorgias and what does it do?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Gorgias is a customer support platform exclusively for e-commerce. So we work mainly with brands that are on Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, soon WooCommerce. And you can centralize all your channels in one place. So that's chats, emails, that's also Facebook, Instagram, including ads, comments, and DMs. We also integrate with phones, SMS, WhatsApp, all the channels that you may be using to communicate with your customers. What's unique about Gorgias is the focus on e-commerce. For example, we are known for being the #1 customer service platform for Shopify because we have the deepest Shopify integration on the market when it comes to customer service. So you can edit, cancel, create, modify, refund orders right from Gorgias. You can track your revenue coming from customer support conversations in Gorgias in Shopify. We integrate with all the ecosystem, whether it is email marketing tools like Klaviyo, reviews, a lot of the tools that you're using as a brand. And when someone sends you a message, you have all the information about your customers. We have a lot of rules and automations you can set up in Gorgias based on your CMS or based on your different tools that you have integrated into Gorgias, based on what customers are asking you, the language, all these kind of things. We have also our own help center in FAQ, our own chat, and Gorgias can also be used to moderate social media. So for example, if you do some giveaways on Facebook, Instagram, you have a lot of comments, you can automatically know out of the hundreds of thousands of comments you get, how many of them are questions or how many of them are people at mentioning each other. And the end result of all this is that you can centralize all your communication channels, you can prioritize the request, and you can be really efficient when it comes to getting back to customers and focusing on either pre-sales questions or questions from existing customers that are more likely to buy again. And we are trying to help brands face the costs of acquisition that are rising, the cost of primary goods, shipping, logistics, just the fixed costs for brands in general. And hopefully with tools like Gorgias, you can reuse customer support and retention as a way to drive more revenue, more repeat orders, increase customer lifetime value, and make your customers happier, which means more likely to recommend your product to other customers, etc.
So TM Lewin went through this incredible journey with Gorgias, where the first step was to clear the tickets and stabilise and stop the firefighting in customer service. Is that right?
Yeah, very much, yeah.
Yeah, and then when did you reach the point where the fires were put out in customer service and the tickets were cleared?
Just in time for peak, which was nice. That was the goal. The guys achieved it. And really, going into peak, we turned on live chat for the first time so we could have synchronous conversations with the customers. And we, to be honest, we couldn't really believe the results. Like, tickets went up massively, but it was all... They weren't service issues. They were all customers asking for information about products. There's a lot of people that know the brand and buy it. Like, shirting is actually a much more technical sales channel than you think it is. There are different fits, there's different weaves, there's different sizing. It's actually quite complex. So actually, we were seeing 6-7% conversion rates on live chat, which was just not something we were expecting. We just thought it was going to be a service route. So it's fantastic. I look at the team now. We're a profit center. We're not a cost center. Like, we've got the ability to generate revenue and keep the customer happy at source, rather than just dealing with the back end of mistakes that we've made at some point in the life cycle.
Great.
Yeah, just one thing I think that is very interesting is chat. So a lot of brands don't have a live chat on the website because they believe they don't have the capacity to handle tickets and things like this. But we found at Gorgias that 33% of chat requests are actually pre-sales questions. So if you're able to answer to customers pretty quickly, it's a great way for you to convert sales. And we actually found that if you're able to answer to chat tickets on the website within 10 minutes, there's a 28 conversion rate based on Gorgias customers. So it just shows that if you're a brand and you don't have a chat on your website, it might be something to look into or at least consider for a few hours a day when you have a team, because if you're selling online, people cannot go in the store and try the shirts, for example. If they have questions, they would potentially go on the website, and live chat is where they would ask questions.
Yeah, the way I look at it, so in terms of the people, right, my customer service folks, back in the day, we'd have called them retail associates if they worked in the store. People like to buy from people, and people actually do know the difference, whether they're talking to the person, they're talking to the bot. But I think what is really what we've gone live with live chat. I said I wouldn't say live twice in the same sentence, didn't I, when we talked? And I did. We put live chat 24/7 about 3 weeks ago. We did that by moving all of our help information to the Gorgias Help Centre, turning on article recommendations. And effectively what we saw was that basically, so when we're not manning it, people can contact, they can self-serve, they can answer questions. When we are manning it, we're only really getting the product questions coming through. And the results are ridiculous. Like, we've seen a 4-fold increase in conversion. Like, revenues jumped hugely. Contacts are up. Like, contacts are up about 40%. The messages we've seen with the messages we're sending out are up 70%. But our first-time response rate is down 80%. So it is, if you can do the work to understand what the customers want to answer, you can automate a lot of it. So then you're just giving yourself more time for the value add.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is this is a year-long journey for you, for TM Lewin, of working with Gorgias so far. Is it a year?
So since last August, so that's 6 months.
So 6 months. And in that time, you've gone from firefighting to live chat coming on and becoming revenue generating. That was the first sort of turn for you in terms of the customer services becoming a revenue generating department in their own right.
Yeah, my customer service manager was pushing me for weeks. Let me do it. She'd a much better judge of the customers than I did, if I'm fair. But it was like, as soon as we got the hygiene factors right, that's when we could do it.
Hygiene factors means the complaints are sorted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the team laugh at me, right? I hate us dealing with the same problem more than once. I want to understand what it is and fix it at the source. Yeah. Once we've got those big things out of the way, then it's really about the value-adding interactions with the customers. So like, one of the guys hopefully we'll have a story to tell about it soon, but like, one of the guys has just spent time working with a local London band that needed 48 dress shirts, and he's been able to turn that transaction around, work with the product team, make sure we've got it available, we've delivered it in. We never could have done that before if we were just dealing with like Wismo and Wismo, yeah.
Wismo, which means where is my order? We don't know.
Acronym.
And you're a part of, and Johan, do you want to explain what this is? Because you're in a beta test with Gorgias now, which again is about, the theme of today is getting all you can out of everything you've got. And there's lots of departments that are accepted as just being costs, i.e. customer service. We always, when we're working with businesses, try and pinpoint who's a cost and how to make them a revenue generator. So you're now in the beta test, which again is Gorgias evolving into becoming great, being able to generate more revenue from customer service. Do you want to explain what that beta test involves at TM Lewin in?
Yeah, then you can tell more about your experience. But basically, the kind of life cycle we're seeing with brands when they use a help desk or a tool like Gorgias is at first, you want to centralize your communication channels. Great. Second, you want to optimize things, and that means prioritizing the different requests that you're getting, being able to automate some things, which doesn't mean replying to customers automatically, but knowing, for example, in which language they contact you, or knowing which requests are where is my order versus cancellation requests, this kind of things. Then you want to automate more things. And once you're in a place where you can handle your support queries and you have a bit more time, you're not just flooded with tickets and with the backlog like you were, then you can be a bit more proactive. You can take a bit more time to be a counselor, to be an advisor, to spend more time speaking with your customers and really turning customer support into a way to generate revenue. And at Gorgias, we developed a lot of features, and recently we focused a lot on automation and how to help brands save some time and prioritize the different requests that they're getting. And we have a tool called the automation add-on, which lets you connect your help center to your chat. So you can, when someone is saying, for example, do you ship to my country? You can automatically send them the help article. There's also different options to just automate more interactions. And this is what the team at TM Lewin has been using to get some of these results that we're seeing here. And the next step where we are going is building a product to help brands generate more revenue through support. That means having proactive chat campaigns like pop-up windows on your website based on the IP of the customer, based on whether we know this customer, and just finding ways to generate more revenue from existing customers, from repeat buyers, and from people that love your brands and are willing to pay more for your products.
Yes, so the automation help center is what we use to get live chat going 24/7, and then Gorgias contacted us about a week or so ago asked us if we wanted to join the advanced revenue as a beta test, first brand in Europe, and we jumped at it. We love to test and learn. We love to early adopt. As long as we can measure it, so we know what works and what doesn't work, then we'll do anything. It's very early days, small sample set, but the results have been phenomenal. So like we launched it at the same time we were going into sale, which was a bullish choice, but the opportunity was there. So we're getting more contacts naturally through there. But even though the contact rate has gone through the roof because of the way it filters it through, the advanced revenue program effect, which is classic call to actions at different points of the journey, but it does it via the live chat. So effectively someone can get to a human really quickly. Once the customer's talking to a human, we're getting 30% conversion rates on those contacts. It's phenomenal. Like we really didn't believe it was going to come that fast, and we've barely dipped our toe in it. We're doing like 3 or 4 campaigns, and it's an unlimited number. So yeah, we're super excited.
Brilliant. And just before we wrap up, Simon, you said something to me which I thought was really interesting. You're obviously in a CTO role here at Gorgias. You're a big fan of using tech that's already in existence because of the access to programs like this that you get from channels. Can you just share more about your philosophy on that?
Yeah, very. As a technologist, that's what my background is. It's very easy to look at technology for technology's sake and self-justify it. And really, the way that I look at it is, its role is to make people's jobs easier, right? Everyone's got really great people in their business, right? You don't want them doing admin tasks. You don't want them. You look at things like data science and stuff, right? You don't want to be creating the data. You want someone to be analysing the data. This is exactly what we're trying to do here. So, anything that we can get that's turnkey, anyone where I can leverage somebody else's R&D rather than doing it ourselves, I'd rather do that because it's all about generating business outcomes and customer outcomes.
Yeah.
And that's actually focus on the brand, focus on the product, focus on the customer. The rest of it's the engine. You just got to tune the engine. You don't need to be focused on building the engine. The customer, the brand, and the product's the important stuff.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Can we give a big round of applause to Johan and Simon? And very closely...
No, that's it. No, I just wanted to put it back to the first line, but we can...
Oh, okay. I was wondering where the remote control had gone,
sure.
but you had it. I was looking around going, where's it gone? Okay, our next speaker, close. Thanks, guys. Thank you. And Johan's around all day, so if anyone's got any questions about Gorgias, ask him.